Hi, this is Kirsten Hodgins. Welcome to week 4 of Meditation for Beginners. We are on week 4, our final week. We're going to put everything together. So the agenda this week is all about you are bigger than you think. It's all about how our mindset, the function of the ego, keeps us playing small, and our fears are playing a big role on why we keep on putting the brakes on in our life and we're not moving forward on the things and we're procrastinating. So when we get into meditation, we begin to clear that fear energy and we begin to become powerful manifestors. And we're going to take a look at the different ways that we can connect to our inner being and what the realm of the function of the ego has, and it is very useful when it is aligned with our inner being in connection with the higher power. So we're going to take a look at those streams of ways in which we can begin to really harness this power. The other thing is, I want to share with you the most enlightening lessons when you begin your meditation journey. And so how you could overcome the resistance. And we're going to go over all the different things that we've been reviewing and collecting as our toolbox so that we could end this time together with a really rich review of all the things that we could walk away with because they work. These are powerful, simple little processes that could shift the way you look at the world and how you look at yourself. Meditation. So let's get into it. I'm going to begin to share my screen with you. So I'm going to take a look at, so what we're going to do is, this is the agenda for today, which I just went over. But I want to start at the beginning of our presentation because I want to welcome you. This is all about beyond the self. And we're going to begin with a bit of a summary. So in week 1, when we got together, we began to learn how to physically connect with our body. One of the first ways to bring your awareness, to become aware of the present moment, is to become aware, first of all, aware that you're not in the present moment, but also taking your physical senses to pull you out of your mind, especially when you're emotionally charged or you're finding it difficult to really be present in the moment. You have emotions or repetitive, very overpowering, dominant thinking thoughts that seem to pull you down into a heaviness. And so what you want to do is really practice connecting with your physical. That's why the breath, the ancient principle of connecting with your breath, begins to calm your body, a calm mind. And if that's a struggle, we talked about the tips that we borrowed and that we have brought in from these ancient principles, including experts such as Mark Cummings, who's really lent a powerful tool for people who were really in a state of emotional overwhelm. You could begin to rub your fingers, wiggle your toes, and notice your breath. And as you begin to do that, you bring your mind back to your heart. It's said that when you lose your mind, come back to your senses, and that's exactly what we practice. It's to really become aware generally of how we're feeling through our senses, not just what you're thinking or what you're feeling, but all general, what you smell, what you hear, what you smell and taste, but also what you see with your mind's eye when you close it, because often we can get a rich palette of images and color. And we want to be able to generally, because why? Brings us out of that thinking mind, that place where we're constantly falling into fear and we're not at peace and we're not in the present moment. Because when we're in the present moment, we can become we can harness and we can really consciously choose our state. Or at least we can become aware where we're hanging out and begin to do the work to shift those states and neurologically change the way we are wired, because it's a pattern that's limiting that we've been doing on an automatic program for so long. That's really what meditation is so wonderful for. So week 1, this is basically, I just went over week 2, we become observing. We begin to notice when we're not in the present moment, because we practiced, first of all, we practice mindfulness practices where we began to stop compartmentalizing our meditation and all the things that we bring ourselves into our inner being when we wait to go to yoga or when we put our feet up on the weekend. We're actually we're going to bring it in and bridge it into our lives and make it a part of our new way of being. It's a new mastering your life is to change the way we think and feel in any given moment. And so when we start to unveil our blocks, what happens is when we start to notice our resistance, that's because we are growing, we're evolving. It'll get uncomfortable because it is a wonderful opportunity for us to be aware of those blocks so we could work on them. So that was all about week 1. And week 2 was to begin to up level your state by feeling joy in your heart and really opening up to the things that are already going well. And gratitude is I know that you hear it all over the place, where be happy, focus on what's good, appreciate life. We often it's so common, it's common sense that people feel that it's just too simple and that any peace should come through struggle and that they have to do something significant to get there. But really, it's in these simple steps of just becoming present in the moment. And instead of focusing just on the things that aren't wanted or that you're resisting in life, take a look at all the things that are going well, and it begins to shift and open your mind. And that's literally what meditation helps you do. You sit into the truth. You sit into the present moment where you begin to have proper perspective. And then in week 3, we went over letting go and letting God. It's a grand overall plan. It's a design that's already, we have to have that faith and trust, and that's hard. We resist change. We resist letting go. We think holding on to fear is going to be our way to control and to fix things so that we can have peace. But really, it's like holding on a hot coal, burning yourself and not getting any further ahead. So letting go and surrendering is, we reminded ourselves that it's in the surrender where we're saying, we're not throwing in the towel or giving up, but that we're willing to see all aspects around it. We're willing to open up and have faith that the inspired clarity or healing or guidance will come. And it's beyond the state of our thinking and our judging and our fear and all that emotions that we still hold on to that story, and we hold on to it in our physical body, and we're not at peace and ease. So when we shift into that state of presence, we literally open up to see creatively around it and through it, resolution oriented. So when we got into the week 3, we also learned that we're not pushing our thoughts away when we sit in meditation. We're literally allowing them to just be as they are. We're allowing, when we resist a feeling or thought or a memory, it's because we believe that we're judging. Our mind is still holding on to that, and we're identifying with it. We're basically giving our power away, and we're playing victim to it. We're afraid to feel because we don't think that in doing so we could move through and survive. People say, I don't want to feel that. They close their mind and they numb themselves, and they source energy. They watch Netflix and do things to avoid feeling, because uncertainty creates a sense of fear and doom. Watch week 1, 2, and 3. Very powerful. It'll be very supportive on these. This is just a general overview. But in the meditation, we also discovered that not only will our thoughts attach to the story or how we were done wrong or what we could have done better, or our excitement and impatience about what's to come, that could be a negative or a positive aspect. But we're throwing ourselves off, and we feel impatient or uncertain, and we can go in a downward spiral of fear. So being present in the moment and noticing the thoughts, as well as the all general physical senses, non-physical senses, you begin to broaden that energy. So that's the space we're talked about in week 3. It's noticing the spaciousness around you. It allows you to begin to focus less on, say there's a heavy repetitive thought, or there's a heavy repetitive presence of even a physical ailment such a headache or chronic issues. We could really manage with pain by just allowing yourself to feel the peace and ease in another area of your energy body. Perhaps maybe you're dealing with heavy thoughts or judgments, noticing that your belly is tight, but perhaps your legs, or you could begin to relax and feel into the spaciousness around it. And you can immerse that together and bring a lightness, and the calmer your body, the calmer your mind around it. So we could have right thought And that's when we can go from fear dimming our light to allowing that light to shine more clearly, unveiling the fears, unveiling what's not serving you. So the spaciousness could be a physical sensation, or it could be your thinking. So if you're thinking, judging, look for the space around it. See a broader perspective, and don't just think. Remember, generally, simultaneously go back to your breath, your physical senses, your breath, and feel that energy internally as well as external in the environment. So literally just, if you lose your mind, go to your senses. And we choose our state, and that was the challenge for week 3. We moved away from the busyness syndrome, the doing and the hustle and the bustle, and we began to open up that, make that space for, how do I want to feel? I'm not, joy and peace. If you feel that it's always evasive and you can't hold it long enough, and it will come at the end of a project, or when you get rid of your debt, or when the weekend comes. If you think that peace is only experienced at the end of a successful to-do list, then you are it's a myth. You're lying to yourself, because peace is something, it's a perception. Everything that we experience in life, this is what meditation teaches us. It's in the moving through it. It's the anticipation of it. It's all how we could show up now with that perception. Even in our past, when we take a look at what was done, if we're holding on to the stories, we could literally heal our past by opening up and allowing ourselves to be present with a whole state of opening our perceptions, opening our heart to see a different story. This is how people move from being a victim to a victor, how they learn lessons and they see themselves as a completely different strengths and essence and personality sheds. So we're going to talk about how to do that in week 4. So here we go. Week 4, we had the challenge, and I wanted to know if you've been following along. Go back to week 1 where we talked about mindfulness. Then visit week 2 where we talked about moving into gratitude and how we can amplify that state of being grateful for all that we already have. And then again, week 3, it was moving out of the busyness syndrome into a place of beingness, right? And taking stock of how we feel, being an observer based on what we feel and what we are thinking, where we're hanging out, and really working on using your mind as the master of your life to really choose those better thinking thoughts, because life is a mirror. You're going to get triggered and you're going to experience the ups and downs. And that is what we came here to learn and to grow from. It's a good thing. So here we go. I want you to go and do those for 3 weeks, because if you continue to add each challenge each week, so you start with the mindfulness and then add the second week, mindfulness and gratitude. And then the third week, do all 3. And believe me, you will begin to shift the way you perceive life, and you will begin to notice your shift in how you look at things and how you feel. And meditation, that muscle, the more you practice it, the more you will have that available to you at any moment. It wouldn't have to happen at the end of a bath or a massage, or you need a vacation to feel peace. It will be available at any minute. So the difference between fear and love is literally on the opposite side of the scale. We can move into fear when we lose our footing in the present moment. When we're no longer conscious in this moment, we've had a pull towards our subconscious thinking, and most often it is in a fear, a worry. That's what the busyness syndrome is all about, especially if you're a mom juggling a career and a job and really struggling to delegate and have everybody be a team. And I feel like a lot of the women I support have this busyness syndrome because they're trying to do it all. They're trying to be the nurturer. They're trying to wear all these hats, the cook, the chef, the counselor, the teacher, and a good wife. And we know that guilt plays the part. So that's fear. I feel guilty if I don't. I'm a people pleaser. So there's all sorts of hidden things that keep us in these situations. So if you've been taking stock, and you're going to see repetition, and if you find that you need support because you don't have what it takes, you haven't learned the tools yet to break free, that's where mentors are massively important in everyone's life. They help you to propel, they unveil your hidden blocks. So take a look at how that's playing in your life, because love is on the opposite end. Love and peace and joy, and even in chaos and the ups and downs of life, we could still create that space, that spaciousness within, to recognize its presence, because it is your natural state. Meditation is leading us back to experience these beautiful natural states. And we talked about that in week 3. So review week 3 video all about the I am statements. They are powerful and life transformational. Because if I'm saying I am fear, I'm not good enough, I'm guilty, then literally you let yourself label and constrict, and you're not open to that truth that's within you. So the I am patience, I am compassion. And when you begin to open up to see how you are love and patience with your children and patience with life, then you can begin to feel that spaciousness of patience. What if you're calling upon, if you're afraid to go into an interview because you feel unworthy? And why don't you hold on to the state, I am confidence, I'm enough, and remember all of the beautiful accomplishments, what you're proud of, and really anchor that energy to amplify it. Simple meditation practices in the moment. Going into meditation, we've learned in week 3, wasn't about having any intention for the most part, but there are beautiful reasons why. If you are going into meditation, perhaps you're looking for life purpose or a solution to a problem, then very well it is. But most often, going into meditation means that you're going to allow whatever to come up to be as is. It as it is. And you're going to notice that. So we're going to put all of it together in today's meditation. So the agenda for this week is you're bigger than you think. You're a powerful manifester. And there are 2 streams of intelligence. And I want to go through the most enlightening lessons with you. And questions and answers are by email or comments below if you're watching this by YouTube. And keep in contact with me, because I want to, if you want to take this further with me, hang out to the end of this video, because I have ways for you to work with me. I gift you a clarity call. Go on my website. It's the first bar at the top. I gift you a free 1 per person half-hour session with me, clarity call, to help you through any of these blocks or areas of your life where you want support and want a mentorship, want a mentor. So you're bigger than you think. I love this. One of the studies that I did was with a beautiful Dream Builder program with Mary Morrissey. And I love the story, and I want to share the story in this. First of all, it's about a fisherman who's fishing, and this young guy is down the stream. I'm going to tell you a different version, a short version. And this young guy down the stream is seeing this older fisherman catching fish after fish after fish, and there is abundance. He's not catching any. He's getting really impatient. He's beginning to fear that perhaps he's not in a good spot. And then he's beginning to compare and get competitive and say, oh, maybe there's something that he's doing differently, or maybe the fish aren't good. That's why because he's noticing, in addition, he's catching a lot of fish, but he only seems to be keeping the ones that are as measurement with this broken off ruler that he has. So he keeps on throwing back all the big fish, and he's only keeping the ones that are short. And he's thinking, wow, are they poisoned? Are they not edible? Perhaps they're too bony. So he decides to paddles upstream, and he steps onto the bank where this fisherman is, and he says, excuse me, sir, can I interrupt you? I have a question to ask you. And the fisherman says, of course, what would you like to know? And he said, well, I see that you're catching a lot of fish today, but you're throwing back the big ones. And why is that? Why do you keep measuring it up to this broken off ruler and you keep throwing the big ones out? Are they not good for eating? Are they too bony? And the older fisherman said, well, Sonny, let me tell you. He goes, see this broken off ruler? He said, I have measured it exactly to the size of my frying pan. And so this is how big the fish I can only have any catches. And you and I think that would be ridiculous, because I would say, what? That's all? You got all this abundance. Why would you bother keeping the small ones? You've got these big ones, right? We would think, wow, look at this abundance. Why would he do that? Because the story is that he's limiting himself. He doesn't see that life is abundant And I believe the analogy of this story is that we block ourselves from worthiness, deservedness. We don't see that we can have more than what the perimeters of our life are allowing. So if I'm sitting here thinking that maybe I'm only worthy being, perhaps this is, who am I to go after my life purpose and write a book? Perhaps I'm thinking that's for somebody else because they're lucky. The perimeter of my life, I don't even have any education in terms of being a writer. In fact, I'm not the best speller. So you will be sabotaging any potential based on the conditions of your life, your frying pan. So the analogy of this story is for us to not to dictate our capability, not to dictate who we are and what soars. If we have dreams and desires, don't limit yourself based on the conditions of your life. That's what this slide's about. And I have a whole weekend course on this, or not a weekend course, it's a whole workshop, online workshop that I'm doing, Awakening and Empowerment Program. Let me know if this interests you. Email me, check out my website. Also, this quote came from Eckhart Tolle: "The greatest freedom is freedom from thought." Isn't that, are you getting to understand this? So meditation helps us to notice our thoughts, notice where we're hanging out, and to not sweep them or try to add and amplify them with a story or blame or get caught up in the thought, because the thought is just a thought. And if we label it and really create a sense of identity of it, we're limiting ourselves. Meditation helps us to shift through, like panning for gold. And if we're shifting that sand that's not useful, those unuseful thoughts and limitations, we get left with the true aspect of who we are. Oh my goodness, I am worthy. That is a desire. I can write that book. I do have it within me, right? So we can take thought and we can begin in meditation to calm our mind like murky water. And the more we sit and the more we settle, that sand and fear and uncertainty begins to settle. Then we have a clear mind. So allow yourself to sit without judgment and trust that in the process of the clearing, just notice the thoughts, the fear, the emotion, and know as it all dissipates, it will become clear and truth will be revealed. So we are powerful manifestors. So one of the things out of these three things that's most important to take away is that every thought you have, you are basically manifesting. It's our thoughts are like signals to the universe. And if we're hanging out and I'm not good enough, who am I to write that book? Then you're never going to have any opportunity, synchronicity, signs, people, doors opening, creative insight, because you're not open to that space to receive that creative impulse or pull of desire. You're going to block it. And the other thing is what you put your attention on is the intention. So when you're sending signals, yeah, it's all good, great. When you start off in your morning and you're practicing what we did in week 3 was choosing emotional states. I am peace, I am love. But then you set off for your day, no sooner do you leave your house and someone in lineup irks you, or you judge someone who's maybe looked at you a certain way and your mind had interpreted and perceived it as being, they were looking down on you. So whatever happens, it could even be more. It could be an argument or being dismissed at work from something. And it could be whatever it is. What you're doing is you're placing your attention on not being good enough or being a victim or all those things. So remember your intention. I am patience. I am compassion. I am to be heard. I have a voice. What I say matters. Like all those essence of I can self-express. I am expression. I am compassion with the words that you do express. So when you remember who you are, you're going to change the way you hold that state and the way you react. And that's what we're doing this week. We're moving beyond the self. We're realizing that we have incrementally been building on the tools, the toolbox that we can tap into so that we could create that difference of knee-jerk reactions. And the third thing is things are happening through you, not to you. You're not a victim. Yes, things are being triggered. and they're triggered, you are feeling as if that they're happening to you, but it's happening through you. And this is how, when you begin to sit down in meditation and you try and etch out every day to yourself now, you're going to notice resistance. Why is that? Because you're changing your routine. You're creating new patterns of habits. And your ego and the people around you may not be on board with that. So you're going to know what you need to work on. And it's not that the conditions of your life has power over you. What it means is that, in order for me to really follow what's best for my highest good and all involved, is to speak up, ask to have an hour out of my day for meditation and let the kids know, or ask my husband. There's many ways that you could create a different environment. And if you're single and your things are happening to me, and I work with a lot of women who are in a place that they long for a relationship, but yet they feel uncomfortable getting themselves out there. Perhaps it's judgments put on them from past experiences, or they're afraid because they feel like they need to do some self-work before they feel like they are whole, so that they can be judged with to be lovable. And there's so many reasons why life isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. It is when you start to work towards those things that you want, your life is like a mirror. It's going to trigger the stuff that you need to work on in order to evolve. So my belief is, if you want to be a powerful manifester, begin to take action on the things that you want, and you'll notice how uncomfortable it gets. And that is what you're being called to step up and to cultivate new skills and to overcome. And if you're stuck, that's where a mentor comes in. I help people manage and overcome their fears and blocks and learn who they truly are, so that they can be empowered, powerful manifestors. The next thing is the stream of intelligence. We have our subconscious and our higher power. And today we're going to go into meditation, and we're going to experience how the mind is going to play. You got a to-do list, you can't sit here, or there's too much distractions in my mind. Today I had a busy day at work, I just can't sit, right? I'd rather go watch movies and eat some ice cream. I did that for many years. So your subconscious is going to be pulling the cards, your dominant control over your life. We practice meditation, mindfulness, to help us be in charge, to discipline and concentrate our thinking so that we can get up. I noticed myself the other day. I love morning meditation. Some mornings I wake up and I'm like, oh, I don't feel like getting up. And I realize when I say those words, I don't feel like getting up. I feel that when I recall, I pull forth all the beautiful feelings that my body thanks me for when I get into that stretch yoga and I really begin to get that circulation going, and how I fill my lungs with breath and oxygen, and my body, I just feel so great for the day. So what I have trained myself to do is to become aware of the internal dialogue, that subconscious thinking that wants to sabotage any growth because it's uncomfortable. Of course, I'm comfortable in my bed, and it's a Saturday, Sunday morning, and it may be that I stayed up until 1 or 2 in the morning watching movies, and yeah, sometimes I do that. But getting up and doing that yoga, it resets my battery. So instead of me buying in and going down that rabbit hole of thinking of, and then feeling guilt and shame and beating myself up for a bit for not getting up and missing the yoga class, I now know what it cost me. And only way you know what it's going to cost you is by taking a look at both streams. The higher power is going to say, wow, remember how good it makes you feel. You're working towards those visions of you having good health and well-being. My goal of being able to stretch and do those poses even better, and to become more, meditation is all about, yoga is all about mind and body connection. So I'm missing out on that experience to practice my mind body connection. So that's what my pulling the cart, that's what's going to come in, my higher power, with the infinite mind that helps to stream those I can do this. I might be tired, but my mind is I know that I will wake up as soon as I hit that yoga mat. all sorts of beautiful ways that our mind can be the master of our life. And we have two streams of intelligence, and I want you to be aware of it in your meditations. This is for beginners. This is a powerful opportunity for you to begin to recognize both voices that are already operating within you and see which one you feed. Do you know that beautiful story about there's a wolf, a dark wolf that's sinister, and there's a white wolf with kindness and very gentle, passive nature. And the story goes from the shaman to a young villager in the tribe, said, well, which one do you feed? Like, how do you know which one to feed? How do you manage with both streams of intelligence, our subconscious fear, and that wants to hold blame and guilt and all sorts of things, or you want to live from that place that's peace and ease and compassion and accomplishment and feeling of ease and peace and ease. So you feed the one that you want to live. So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to get up and do your rituals, which one are you feeding? Because the one that you feed will live, and the one that you don't feed will fade into the background and you'll starve it. So feed the white wolf, and which is basically our analogy for our higher self. And don't feed the dark wolf, which is the analogy for our fear and the self-sabotaging components of our thinking mind, okay? So that's the two stream of intelligence. So this is the last thing before we do a meditation. So most enlightening lessons that you may want to open your mind and heart for are releasing energy and entities, thought patterns. This literally, what this means is every thought, it triggers an emotion, a chemical response. Week 1 and 2, we talked about this. So when we are sitting in meditation and we notice that we begin to feel, we might be sitting there and we've calmed our breath, we've physically and generally focused on our senses, and now we're in a nice space where we might have a thought come up, but we're able to just notice it and go to breath. And as we breathe, we might feel the energy. As we breathe in and out, we could actually begin to release old stories without thoughts or with thoughts. It doesn't matter. They both have ability to release the energy through breathing and becoming aware of it. Because when you calm your mind, calm your body, and you release that energy, it's almost like you've removed an old file that's not serving you, and new information can be programmed. And so that's how we can up-level and empower ourselves. So you'll notice the hours or the days that come after your practice of meditation, you become to feel lighter. Things don't bother you as much. Your personality changes. So the next one is becoming aware of what's mine and others. This is so valuable. We've becoming aware of the space around us, the spaciousness. We're also going to become aware of our field of energy. We're going to be able to pick up and be familiar with what's ours, because we're learning how to articulate and to be really centered in our inner being. We're going to recognize what is not ours, because we've been holding on to words or a behavior pattern of somebody that's in our, if your husband or your wife is in a funk and you've taken it on as if it's your own, because we are sometimes conditioned to take responsibility. Well, we'll become aware that it's not ours and it's not our job. And that if there is any codependency on you showing up and making that person happy and doing things, you're going to become aware of so many things. Or it might be at work where there's some projections of energy that are going on based on fear, and you're on the receiving end of feeling like you're to blame, right? And that energy, well, that's not mine. You're going to have a reaction. Is it going to come from an old, limited, knee-jerk reaction of defensiveness, or trying to defend or try to talk your way through? Or are you going to just be very compassionate, best for all involved, and speak with your truth on the table without feeling judged, and just being factual and very objective? Like, there's many different ways that we can become aware of what's mine and what's others, and we can have a cleansing. We could actually realize, well, that's not mine. And you will ask, like, should I do anything with it? Is it my job? No. And this is a beautiful course that that I teach, Awakening and Empowerment Workshop. It's a 12-week course on discerning, intuitive, and living from your soul. But these enlightening lessons are so valuable. So if you're interested in that, check out my website under mentorship program. It is phenomenal, and I wanted to continue. So broadens your perspectives and viewpoints. I think we're becoming to know that when we sit in meditation, that the enlightenment comes because we've let that energy sizzle. We've allowed ourselves to become so present that we're able to see a broader perspective, and we're seeing all sides. We're not just seeing where we're sitting, but we also open up to the people and the situations and the experience of where they're standing. It's amazing. So the more you sit in meditation, the more enlightenment comes, and the more you're able to broaden your viewpoint, and it's not narrow thinking and taking it personal. You begin to really deconstruct and lighten up and live from a place of peace and ease, so much easier. The other one is ability to surrender and accept, because the more that you have practiced being in that spaciousness, being in that observer mode, the more when things are triggered out of the blue, that you're going to be there in observer mode. And you're not going to be that one that's going to scream, this is such a, you're not going down that road of victim and, oh no, this is happening to me. You're going to take a look at it, and you're going to be that calm, centered being, if with practice. And you can begin to surrender the situation and immediately move into resolution-oriented, higher thinking, right? You're better under stress. Those are leaders. We all have this in them. It's the peace and ease and the ability to hold a broader perspective so that we could see into things without going into a judgment and hanging out in places that don't serve you, like trying to find blame for something going on, which is a lot of what happens in society. Another thing is awakening to experience who I am. Go back to week 3, study this, look this up. Such a valuable principle, who I am, who am I? And when you go into the meditation, you go, I am peace. You just make those statements and affirm them. You can create that spaciousness as well. And the other thing is you move from a victim to a victor. You're no longer a puppet on a string to the environment. You literally are an observer, and you can really take a look at what's serving you and what isn't. And you're also able to know that you are a powerful creator, because your states attract your experiences, your perceptions create your reality. You're going to realize that you could choose and you could create and mold your life toward your heart's desires. So this is the path of enlightenment. These are some important lessons that this is the bulk of it. Continue your study. Reach out to me. If you have any questions, let me know. I have these courses here. Check out Awakening and Empowerment Group, Living from Your Soul. It's on my website, or check it out on my meetup.com, Awakening and Empowerment Group with Kirsten Hodgins. These are my upcoming workshops. Much of what we are trying to include, but they're for 2 hours at length where you get to enjoy this and have discussion. Another thing is I have intuitive development. So if you want to take this further, Beyond the Self is also about connecting and tuning in with the infinite, with God, with angels and spirit guides and elementals, even deceased loved ones, in God's will. Whoever you require to have that healing and guidance from, we don't even consciously are aware of the support and help that we do have coming to us. As we open up in meditation, some of you maybe experience divine guidance. And this is if you are open and want to unblock and overcome your fears around this and be a pure channel, reach out to me. I have a free workshop next Wednesday, also a full 7-week online course coming up on June 23rd, 2020. You want to, if this is for you, reach out to me for that clarity call and we can talk about it. And if you're struggling in your meditation, you're struggling with the busyness syndrome, or unveiling some patterns of behaviors that you are struggling to do this work, to etch out that time for yourself, call me. Okay? So Summary of the week is basically it is as it is, no expectation, only presence is the now. That's what we did in meditation. I'm going to look at the time. We want to basically go over, keep up with those challenges. If you have questions, I will open myself up by email to provide you with the answers. If I haven't got the answers, I will lead you. I will research. I will give you my heart and soul to get those answers to you, because that is my job as a light worker. I feel that as a spiritual teacher, I'm always learning and growing and expanding. So the content is created from my clients and students. So what you come here seeking, where you are, helps to expand what I can be of service to. Okay? So don't be shy. Ask me questions. Get help from me. And a gift for you, don't forget the clarity call if you haven't already. I am so honored that you have joined me on this 4-week journey, and there is more to come. Thank you so much. And I'm going to spend the next few minutes, if you want to hang out, I want to spend the next 10 minutes bringing you through a meditation. So let's get comfortable. Allow yourself to begin to just feel your weight on the chair. Really just being present in this moment. Even allow yourself to have a smile on your face, even if you're not emotionally feeling joyful, because our body begins to, it's like having an expression creates the brain association with the emotion. So when we open up to spirit with our arms opening our heart and holding the palms up and placing them on our laps, that is another brain association with being in receiving posture. And just allow this beautiful place just to bring yourself into the physical feeling of your weight on the chair. Perhaps you might be experiencing already your senses. You can hear either traffic in a distance out the window. Maybe you have a nearby window open and you can just hear the outdoors, the birds chirping, whatever season you're in. You can hear distance. Maybe you have people in your home or your environment where you can sort of hear them in the distance. That's fine. Just notice without judging or resisting, and allow all your experiences to just be observed. Bring yourself into your ability to smell and taste. Whatever you can just smell, maybe there's some spring or summer in the air, whatever fall, whatever season you're in. And now begin to close your eyes and go into the internal senses. And in doing so, begin to feel, you notice your breath. Bringing in a breath of air, just with a nice big breath, filling and expanding the capacity of your lungs. And then exhale through your mouth. And now allow yourself to return to a regular breath, just a natural breath in and a natural breath out. And with each breath that you take in, open your heart even more, feeling that beautiful essence with love and light as we invite the energies beyond ourself. We welcome in the beautiful layers of universal source energy, quantum light and love. We welcome in the holy healing spirit, if that is a vocabulary that you're comfortable with God's love in essence. Angels, guardian angels, ascended masters that awaken our minds and support us in our thinking and our inventions and all the creative insights and expressions. We open our mind now to that essence. We now open up our hearts even more to the realm of the material elementals and Mother Earth, that physical grounding and healing energy that helps our physical essence, our body's ability to become supported in this physical reality with good health, food, nutrition, good clean air and water. We thank Mother Earth. In this place of gratitude to Mother Earth and this beautiful space of the support and love and light together, we open up our hearts even more. Take a few moments to just feel this shift as you become aware of the presence all around you. Breathing in, you might feel a warmth trickle of love and light. Maybe even seeing golden energy or white energy or shades of white behind your eyelids. Generally focusing on all your senses, and take a moment now to just be in this moment. Breathing in, breathing out, and we add a new feature. Now that we're simultaneously sitting in this spaciousness, beginning to notice all of our senses of what we see, hear, feel, and know, smell and taste. And as we recognize our breath, we have a general peace focus. We're just in peace and tranquility. Scan your body from head to toe. And in doing so, bring the in-breath, fill it with healing light, universal source energy, and concentrate on any area of your body, bringing more peace and ease. Perhaps maybe you're feeling tension in your shoulder. Breathe into your shoulders, and on the exhale, just feel it dissolve and disintegrate with will and intention. Do this on your own for a few breaths. Wow, feeling that stir and shift when we become more surrendered, more opened. Breathing in once more, in. And pause on the inhale. Pause, hold that breath as long as you can. And release. Pause on the inhale. Inhale, bringing in the air. And pause. Hold. And release the breath. Become aware of that beautiful expanded space on the top of your breath. Feeling that energy amplify as you hold that energy in. Trying one more time on your own, breathing in and holding on the inhale. Pause, feeling that energy just light up vibrationally. And when you can't hold that breath anymore, just exhale. Using the breath to really build up the energy body is another way to vibrate and shift your states upward. Becoming a wider and expanded state of energy, being able to reach the limitless boundaries of our energy fields to begin to become beyond the self, beyond our thoughts, beyond our physical, into the ethers, into the spirit. Breathing in and anchoring yourself into the groundedness of Mother Earth even more. Just imagining like big etheric vines growing down your body into the Mother Earth, into the core, wrapping itself on, grounding and rooting, and just being present in the rhythm vibrationally with that perfect harmony, healthy, healing, love, and light from Mother Earth. Breathe this in all the way through your essence, all the way into your heart, through your body in all directions, through every cell. Breathing in and out like a sponge of energy, porous to love and light. Building this beautiful ball of white light. We are now in a complete alignment with higher source. our soul, oneness with all. Taking a few breaths in, giving thanks and gratitude for this beautiful space of broadened perspective. And we allow ourselves to go into a few moments of breath and observing the moment as it is. Just notice this beautiful spaciousness. And allow to come to mind whatever thoughts may come, color, images, feelings palpably in and around your body, angelic presence, or the loving embrace from a being of love and light. Just surrender and trust. You are protected, and only love and light is within your conscious awareness now and always. Allow yourself to notice your feelings within your body as you scan. Notice any information that is being allowed in place from a higher consciousness. Maybe you're being shown an emotion or a thought, a person, place, or circumstance of great wisdom or information, bringing light to some repetitive questions that you've had in your mind lately. And just giving thanks. And inquire, why am I feeling this love and light? Why am I feeling this presence or color or sensation? Scan your body and inquire on what you are being shown. Trust it is guidance from beyond your mind. It is the infinite mind. And just have gratitude in your heart as we finally come back with love and light, as we give thanks to this experience and anchor this beautiful imprint of energy forevermore, so we could return to this experience again and again with practice effortlessly, as it is available at all times as we will it to be so. When we have the willingness, the voice of God can be heard to those who are willing to hear it. Blessings to you.